Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. Today I'm going to be making some butterfly embellishments, but wait, if butterflies are not your thing, stick around to the end of the video and I will talk about other shapes to use for these embellishments. Now, once a month I build a scrapbooking kit, and when I do that I always create some of my own embellishments. So let's take a look and listen to my recent kit building video to see what it was that inspired me to create these butterflies. I'm kind of digging these layered butterflies here with the white on craft. Actually, this text print butterfly I especially like. So I'm thinking I may do some vellum on text print butterflies. Now that we have the idea for these embellishments, let's dive in. I pulled this die set, which is a Tim Holtz, and I'll link you up to that if you like this one in particular, but there's lots of butterfly products on the market that can help you do the same thing. I also pulled a whole bunch of scraps just from my scrap bin, so I'm not using any new products for this. It's already stuff I've had lying around. I am pulling some text prints, and I am pulling some craft and white. I know I thought that I wouldn't do that, but I want to show you some ways to spruce these up using craft and white also, just for more ideas. Now, this die set has two pieces that go with the butterflies, a solid butterfly shape piece and then a more intricate lacy butterfly wing piece, and you just glue those together to layer them up, or you can totally use them independently, either way. But I'm going to layer these up to make these butterflies more interesting, and then a little bit later we're going to spruce up these butterflies even more, so stick around for the rest of that. I've got my little mini die cut machine here on my table just because that's easier to pull into screen for filming. So I'm going to cut 2 of each butterfly base out of craft and then 2 of each butterfly top out of white. And here's a little tip for these intricate dies. Sometimes all of these little bits and pieces can get stuck in there. So if you have a little brush tool, and you could even try a toothbrush for this possibly, you could rub through the die onto a little piece of foam, and that foam will help cushion it a little bit as it presses down. And that can help separate all of those bits and pieces, both from your die cut and from your die. And if you find your die cut still has some pieces in there, just do it again straight on the die cut over that foam, and that foam provides a gentleness that will help prevent your intricate dies from tearing. Once that's done, I just glue them in the center, and that allows me to lift and fluff those wings for added dimension. Let's go ahead and talk about doing these same butterflies with different pattern papers. I used my big die cut machine so that I could run all 4 dies through at the same time, and I cut various pattern papers and vellums in order to mix and match my layers of butterflies, and I did stick with mostly blue and black for my palette. And that sticks a little bit closer to the colors that I have going on in the kit that I mentioned. And so I just glue all those together, and once I'm done, I have this beautiful stack of butterfly embellishments. Now, if you buy this kind of die set, it'll cost you maybe about $20, but if you buy a pack of butterfly embellishments, you might get 4 to 6 butterflies for $5 to $6. So really, if you use that die set just 4 or maybe 5 times, you've already broken even on buying the die set. So I do recommend having good dies and punches in your supply stash that are repeatable shapes that you think you can use multiple times. Remember, we're going to talk about some of those other shapes in just a little bit. First, let's spruce up those plain white and craft butterflies just a little bit. I'm going to spruce these up 3 ways. So the first way is just using some fibers. So I have some embroidery floss here in black and this metallic silver, and I use that because I have some silver pops going on in my kit. And this is so easy. I just lay the fiber across the top of my butterfly with a little bit of a tail hanging out, which will be the antenna, and I just wrap it a few times around the body of the butterfly, both on the left side and the right side, and then I clip the end of my thread to leave those antennae, and I just tack it on the back with a tiny bit of glue. Now with the metallic embroidery floss, they're a little more finicky and tend to split and separate on you, so I tie a knot. I will use my fingernail to hold that loop of a knot while I pull it nice and tight, and that helps keep that knot even, and that actually looks more like a butterfly antenna because they tend to have a little bulb on the end of their antenna. Way number 2 is to use some glittery product. I am using a Nuvo product here, but something like Stickles, or even if you're up for glue and loose glitter, anything along those lines can help spruce up these butterflies with some shine and some texture. And again, these are going to end up being cheaper than buying them pre-made. I would recommend doing this before you glue those layers together. However, I made it work with them already being attached. I just had to be sure that the upper wing didn't get stuck down to the bottom wing if I squeezed out a little too much of that glittery product. And look at the shimmer and shine that you can get on these. Way number 3 is just a tiny bit of easy watercoloring. I just use some ink pads, smush them on my surface, take a very tiny bit of water, and then just swipe the brush across these butterflies. Again, this is easier if you do them before they're glued together, but I was able to fold those butterfly wings back and use it as a handle in order to do this, so that worked out well. And I am leaving a little bit of white gaps as I go, just for more texture and dimension. And you can always overlap those colors if you want them to blend together into a third color. Okay, we've made it to the point where we're going to talk about other shapes. So first up, I'm going to work on some circles, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm punching a larger piece to be the background and a smaller piece to be the foreground, and then I'm doing all of those same sprucing techniques. I've got some watercoloring happening. I'm going to wrap it with some thread. Now, a circle shape is going to tend to make the thread slip on you, so what I'm doing here is just using my scissors to clip tiny little grooves into that paper that will help snag and hold that floss in place. Now, I am pulling apart my floss strands because floss comes with 6 strands typically, and so I'm pulling those apart to just have 3 strands because that works a little bit better on this size of embellishment. And then I just put a little glue on the back, tack it down, and don't worry about how untidy the back looks because nobody's ever going to see that. I also did another one off screen with that glitter glue product. So here you can see all of those side by side, from the butterfly with the floss to the circle with the floss, the butterfly with the watercoloring, the circle with the watercoloring and some extra pattern paper, and then the butterfly and the circle with sparkle product. Remember, you're not limited to circles either. I've got hexagons here, I've got banner shapes here, and while all of these look pretty simple at this point, don't forget that you can layer them up and really make these embellishments shine using any shapes that make you happy. And when I'm done with all of my embellishments, I tuck them into a clear DVD case, and they look beautiful and happy, waiting for me to throw them onto some projects. That's it for this time. I hope you got some good ideas on making your own embellishments and sprucing them up. I would appreciate a thumbs up if you did like this video, because that really does help my channel. And I'll hope you join me for future videos for more inspiration. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.